I would say outside.
Yeah.
Outside.
I would
Yeah, I
say
think it'd be
outside.
outside,
'Cause I'm a
yeah.
little worried about her hut.
Okay. Do you want to be, like, in the clearing outside, or do you want to go back up into the woods?
No, we're gonna go into the woods.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
If possible, I'd like a place where we can keep an eye on the hut.
Okay.
But I don't know if
I
there's
don't
gonna
even
be-
want to do that. I think we should be like a mile down the road.
A mile away.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time of day is it?
Midday.
Okay.
What time of day does I want it to be?
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
So, are we setting up camp within or outside of eye shot of the hut? What was the decision?
I'm fine being away from it as long as we have good like visibility in that direction, like not behind a hill.
Hey, are we using a tiny hut? Are we...
Yeah.
Okay. So Eldove whips up Leo Mud's tiny hut, and everybody gets inside of it. And from your location, from inside Leo Mud's tiny hut, you can't look back and see the circle of skulls, but within a very short walk from there, you can come around the trees and have eye shots of the clearing from the tree line.
Okay.
What kind of watches are we setting up? Daniel volunteers for first watch.
Orphan
Saren will
volunteers
take the
second.
last watch.
We'll take another one.
We've already got
Zook will gently suggest that maybe he should take the first watch since has taken no damage.
Yeah, Orphan also only needs a short rest.
Daniel,
won't take a
Daniel
watch, but I'll leave my
insists
owl
on taking a watch. He will not allow. Like he feels duty bound
Why
to
don't
take
you
the first
take?
watch.
Why don't you let me take the first watch so you can attune to your weapon, and then I'd be more than happy to let you take the second watch.
Said I would be glad if you would stay up with me, brother. No, he doesn't call you brother. He calls you cute little man.
Can I do that and still take the benefit of a long rest if I'm just?
You get the
chilling
benefit of
with
long
him?
rest no matter what. Everybody gets a long
Okay.
rest right now.
I will stay up with him on his first watch. Then yeah, sure.
First watch is uneventful. Who's taking the second? Zook?
Sure.
My owl as well. I'm just gonna leave it up.
Okay.
It doesn't need to sleep.
And who's taking the third?
Khalil. Oh,
Orphan and Cleo?
sure, why not?
And the only event of note through the whole time is the sun does not move in the sky. 8 or 9 hours go by, but it's difficult to measure because you don't have a sense of movement in the sky.
Okay.
So the area of Baba Yaga's influence extends to just further beyond.
Well, she
beyond
captured those spirits. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So if we walk back through the woods, do we see the hut still?
Yeah, you take a few
That would
steps
be real funny.
towards the circle of skulls, and yeah, the hut's still there.
All right. Or Eldove, go claim your hut.
It's more of like a loner.
Eldove's dancing hut.
I'll head in and I'll speak the incantation.
Speak the incantation, and again, the skulls settle back down into the ground. The door of the hut slaps open. This time, you see a closet in the doorway. As soon as the door opened, he steps out, and he's dressed in what looks just ridiculous finery. Like he's got a velvet purple cloak on, and on his head he has one of those big frilly hats with a giant feather coming off of it. And
Is
in
this
his hands,
closet-sized or human-sized clothes?
no, it's human-sized clothes, which is why it looks utterly ridiculous on this tiny little closet. And in his hands, he's holding an oversized scroll, a roll of parchment.
oh boy.
So who else standing where? Let's get that settled right now. This is after Eldove spoke the words and settled the skulls down.
We all clustered together because we're
Yeah.
about to walk in there.
I think we're all.
Yeah.
Where's
So we're
okay.
Where'd I go?
Yep.
Are you all
where's
thinking
my-
that it's a fireball scroll? I thought he was just gonna read some absurd Baba Yaga proclamation.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
I'm not
that probably too.
And so what do you guys? What's the response when you guys see this closet step through the door holding this scroll?
I have supreme confidence that if it's anything dangerous, Eldove will counterspell it, so I'll let him continue.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
if he
the
starts
closet
casting a spell, I'll come.
unrolls this scroll, and it does. It drops to the ground and rolls out on the ground a few feet in front of him. And the closet says that the mistress Baba Yaga cordially invites. He motions to Eldove, the sorcerer and his company, to meal with her today. I'm sorry, to dine with her today. And he's speaking in just this excruciatingly terrible, just like fake aristocratic, kind of like Mr. Bean voice. That doesn't sound like it has any business coming out of a closet. And he starts reading off the courses of the meal that will be served.
Are they disgusting and cannibalistic?
No, they sound delectable. Sounds like something you'd have back at your inn.
Give me 1 minute, guys. I'm gonna go over to the nearest tree,
You
Okay.
have to take a leak.
and I'm gonna cast Demiplane,
Okay.
and I'm going to throw the staff into the Demiplane and dismiss it.
Dismiss the demiplane? So the
Yes.
staff of power is laying inside the demiplane.
Yeah, so I'll go back. I don't want to be carrying that.
And by the time you come back to the group, the closet is still listing off courses that will be...
Yeah, that's what I assumed. I'll mark off my Demiplane.
And then when he's done, he starts setting to work rolling up this giant scroll, and he can't quite get it rolled up correctly, and it's kind of all poking out in different directions, but he gathers it up in his arms and says, "Dinner will be served at the company's earliest convenience." And then he tries his best to bow graciously, but his big frilly hat falls off his head, and he tries to gather that up too. And then actually he moves back into the hut.
Does anybody know where the dining room is?
Well, we know where that big reception hall is.
I bet
Yeah.
it's going to be served at midday.
No, he told you to meet in the reception hall.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do we have any intention of actually meeting in the reception hall?
I mean, we've destroyed all but one of the, all but one of her lieutenants. Have not dealt with any of the 3 spirits she has, or personifications, or whatever they are she has trapped in here.
Whatever trap that she's got set for death.
Well, this is obviously a trap of some kind.
Yeah, but is it any more or less of a trap than going through the rest of the thing, trying to find the center of this hut?
Yeah, I think just walking in there is just walking into a trap at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. You can't. Come on, you have to give me that much.
I could eat.
As far as, yeah, I can't argue with that. Damn
I
you
mean-
and your logic.
The one time we did see her, she didn't immediately kill us, so...
Sorry,
Oh,
twice.
Twice.
she's just sucking away Zook's life force.
I'm going to apologize quickly because I am going to nom on some crackers here.
So, I'm all for it. I don't think I'll be eating anything. That
We
seems
can at
like-
least find out some information before we
Yep.
destroy
I agree
your
with
trap
that.
for death.
Alright, sure. Why the hell?
Okay. And the door of the hut stands open.
All right.
Shall we?
Let's shall.
Yep.
And once again,
Eldove goes ass over tea kettle.
you enter the hut.
Oh god, I felt for a second like I didn't recognize this place.
Hey, this is old hat by now. Hey, Arik. Maybe you
No,
should
I'm
go
taking
sli-
the acid damage. Don't worry.
I'm proud of you.
Khalil will just slap Arik on the shoulder and then start getting ready to go down.
Don't touch
I
me.
go,
Alright, let's do this.
Who's going down quickly?
Tarin always goes down quickly. Tarin does not know the meaning of the word reckless.
Everybody's going down
Wait.
quickly. Throw an athletics roll. Orphan, you're
Tarin
exempt.
actually absolutely knows the meaning of the word reckless.
Just
That would
ignores
be,
oh, there goes my nat 20.
That'd be a 22.
Did anybody fail the athletics check going down quickly? No? Okay.
Oh, don't think so.
Everybody going down slowly. How many of you are there?
Me.
Me.
Zook. 3 acid damage.
Okay.
Other
Don't
guy.
we get a con?
Oh, you do get a con save. Yes, go ahead and throw that.
I rolled a 17 con.
Then 1 acid damage. And how'd you
Okay.
do, Eric?
9.
9 on the con save.
Yeah.
Then you take 7 acid damage.
It's way less damage. Way less.
Neither Fred nor Daniel had any problem going down quickly.
Well, that's good.
And that brings you to
No, one more of us.
one more. Roll it.
19 con.
Then you're fine. You take 2 acid damage. And that brings you back down to the kitchen. And once again, you're all hanging on the meat hooks.
Yeah, I guess then up the dumbwaiter we go.
Is there anyone working in the kitchen? There's any food set out look like it's going to be served?
Well, just looks the same as usual.
Is the meat and the bread that we all threw around back in its original positions?
Oh yeah, the
Or is
roasting
it-
pan has been cleaned and set aside. Looks like anything you moved in this room has been moved back.
Room keeps resetting and it's weirding me out.
Let me go up first.
Maybe it was cleaned by some sort of small child.
Probably.
Poor kid, we gotta save still.
I'm imagining her manipulating that pan. All
And
for free.
Brick, as soon as I get upstairs, I'm going to start casting Foresight.
Okay. So Tarin pulls himself up to the dumbwaiter, and when you poke your head out of the dumbwaiter in the small servants' room here, let me load that up.
Load that map up.
Sorry, I'm putting my eyeballs on 2 different things at once here, and it's not working very well. Okay. Move everybody aside, get these dice off the table. Alright, so you poke your head out of the dumbwaiter, which is this door here, looking into room number 1. And a flurry of activity. Tables and counters are all covered with food. Hot piping food, much of which has been described to you already by the Quasit. And, but you don't see anybody actually in here moving it. It's all just moving on its own. Looks like the courses are being laid out so they can be brought out into the reception hall. The door to the reception hall right now is closed.
Detect magic? Does it look like Eldove's unseen servants do under detect magic?
Absolutely does. Looks like
Alright, yeah,
there's
I'm
a couple of them in this room.
I assume it'll take at least a minute for all of them to haul themselves up, so I'm going to cast Foresight right now.
Okay.
What does that do exactly?
It's ridiculous,
It's
but
the best spell
this
in the
place
game.
makes it
It's awesome.
bad. This place
All right.
makes it bad. Just wait.
Does anybody not
Goes
come up the
next
dumbwaiter?
Nope.
Well, I'll go up.
Yeah, we'll all go up.
Yeah, I think we're all going up.
And you all are standing in the room here watching the unseen servants getting ready to serve the meal.
I knew you were going to come through the door right just now.
It's weird, but it seems less creepy when you do it, Eldove.
Yeah, well.
Well,
Might
none
have
of us
been a
have tried to
report
kill
line.
any of us recently.
Aside from sending demons after us.
I
Directly
didn't
tried to
send
kill
demons
us.
after anyone.
Oh, Eldove has. I thought you were talking about Baba Yaga. Sorry, I misheard.
Alright, well, shall we?
Yeah. And an invitation was for the Sorcerer and his companion, so after you, Eldove.
Eldove,
And I'll head there.
you walk in the room, you open the door, move yourself back, you're behind the door, and a large banquet
Karen
table
took me out.
has been set up with enough chairs around it for you and all your companions. There's only one chair on the north side, one great chair for Baba Yaga herself, but she's not currently seated in it. The table is covered with appetizers, piping hot bread, chicken fingers, bloomin' onion, that kind of thing. Every place has one of the crystal glasses sitting there filled with the, you tasted the wine. It was delicious. The,
Yeah, I did.
the wonderful wine, the decanter of which sits at the center, and a large centerpiece, blossoming flowers, and then a silver candlestick coming out the center of it that splits out into a large candelabra that has illuminating the room. And plush cushioned chairs await your weary buttocks.
Elbow Tarin.
I'll set my
tap my
butt
temple.
in.
Well, I'll take a seat.
Elbow Tarin, tap my temple.
Yeah, all mine link.
This does not. Like, I got a really, 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 really bad feeling about this.
Do you have
Gee,
banquet
what was-
PTSD?
I was about to tell you, maybe this time we don't have to stab anyone, but I think that's being overly optimistic, isn't it?
Yep. Khalil will say the "yep" out loud.
Orphan.
Mm-hmm.
As everybody begins taking their seat, Fred comes up behind you and he sees that all the seats at this end of the table has been taken. Asks if you would mind sitting a little closer to their esteemed hosts.
Orphan nods.
And he sits down where you were. No, there's no chairs on this side of the table. There's chairs on the sides over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Baba Yaga would sit there. And it looks... The one chair on that side looks like it's built for two butts, basically. Daniel takes the seat closest to that end of the table.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take the seat close to this end.
This
And-
is all going to go so well.
Eric. I guess I should have had place cards set, shouldn't I? That's a detail that Baba Yaga would have thought of.
I actually wanted to ask you
How
about
good of
we're
a host is she?
Yeah, were we assigned seating?
I'll tell you what. We'll retcon that. She had little place cards out for each of you. And Eric, at your place, is sitting a stack of cinnamon toast and a variety of jams. All different flavors. The better to fatten you up, of course.
Of course.
And in each of your places, you see in front of you the food that you would desire most to eat before a large meal. So an appetizer to warm yourself up. Except for Orphan, your place is empty.
Okay. Alright, I was going to ask.
We take a dinner break.
Daniel watches warily to see what you all do with the food.
Oh, Zook is not touching it.
Zook
We should-
Khalil ain't touching
We
it
should
either.
wait for our host.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should, at the very least should wait for our host.
And how long do you guys wait? And what do you do in this room?
Zook is, without moving his chair, it's just scanning the room. Just perception.
Is the
radar
curtain
going off
drawn,
the
or is
charts.
is it open?
The curtain is drawn, and
I
the
would
four
say that
clay
this is-
statues are standing in the corners.
I would say that this is probably a good time to take dinner break.
So Khalil digs in?
Oh, no,
No, I
I'm
meant-
talking about the players.
Oh, I can't yet. Peanut's not home.
McClain is hungry. Oh.
As soon as my wife gets here, that's when I can take a dinner break.
Damn it.
So you guys are just sitting and waiting for Baba Yaga to show up.
Yeah.
Is anyone
you-
eating anything in front of them?
I think it would be rude to start before our host got here.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And before long, this door opens. And Vasilia comes through, the little girl.
The one behind me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Vasilia walks through, and she begins going from place to place, pouring glasses of ice water. But she doesn't meet any of your eyes. She doesn't look directly at any of you, and doesn't say anything while she's working.
Doesn't make no reason to make contact with her at all? No. No reason to.
No.
And yeah, she makes her way around the table and fills up a glass of ice water for each of you. And then she leaves back into the servants' room here.
Okay. Zook on the table.
So nobody's eating. Nobody wants to make constitution saves.
No.
Would it be impolite?
It would be important.
Orphan would have absolutely eaten something, but you didn't give her any food.
I mean, there's food on the table. It's just not set out in front of you yet.
Right.
You can feel free to eat whatever you want. It's just all going to taste like sawdust.
That's the reason I was gonna nibble at something to see if I could possibly have anything that I would like. But no, apparently not.
After about 15 or 20 minutes of waiting, after waiting longer than any of you would imagine a gracious and inviting host would actually keep their guests waiting, you hear the sound of like a loud whooshing noise from behind the curtain. At which point, this door opens and Vasilia hurriedly moves her way across the room and begins drawing the curtain open. And behind it, you see Baba Yaga sitting on her throne. And there's my wife now. I'm going to take this call, and we'll see about a dinner break.
That was an
Yeah, I'm
alert
gonna
right
go
there.
AFK 1 second here.
Alright, BRB.
We triggered that alert because we were in her line of sight when the curtain opened.
Anytime we're not fighting enough, just have a banquet.
So wait, I got it. What we should have done though is we should have talked to all the soldiers to get them to convince the Imperials to keep from taking over the world or whatever. We did that before the banquet. So we're not gonna get the access to the treasure room. Other McDohl, I love you. You're a delightful person.
What?
I was just telling the other McDohl that I think he's a delightful person.
Okay, I'm back.
Other McDohl was not here to hear you say that.
Well, that's his problem.
Is Rick back yet?
No, he's dead.
He's
Oh.
he's still in the codex screen. So
Push
time's
the
actually
action
frozen.
button to automatically roll crits against your players while you have R2 depressed.
What? Is that from a game?
Nah,
20!
Don't roll those 20s out, man. We're gonna need them here in a minute.
we'll be fine. Or it'll be so bad
Alright,
we
I'm
won't,
sorry about that,
all
guys.
the 20s in the world won't save us. One of these.
20.
I spoke yesterday in the Twitch chat about the many benefits of being married, but there are drawbacks too. For example, if you're busy and the phone rings, you better goddamn answer it, or you're gonna hear about it.
Back.
My wife doesn't like calling. She just sends texts.
I wish my wife would send texts.
Why, you don't reply to text messages?
No, but I read them.
If
it
they
was
came
his
from
wife.
his wife, he would reply.
No, that was just Peanut on the phone asking what I wanted for dinner, and we decided on grilled cheese. So,
20!
Grilled cheese.
Facilia draws the curtain open, and you look in and you see Baba Yaga sitting on the throne. The two braziers look empty. And she looks out into the room, and previously when you had met with her in this place, she seemed very impatient, very rude with all of you. But today she has a very neutral expression, and her body language, she's sitting straight with her back up against the back of the throne. She's not like hunching forward with a scowl on her face, like impatiently wrapping her fingers against the armrest.
Khalil will stand out of respect for the owner of the place.
And when Daniel sees Khalil stand, he too pushes his chair back, stands up to his feet with his arms folded, or his hands folded in front of him.
Sure, what the hell. Zook
Colonel
stands
stands.
up, too.
Sure.
If we're
Everyone's doing it.
If
If we're
someone's
gonna play this cordial, then yeah, we're taking this for the full 9. That's what I say.
And Fred is the last to stand. And eventually he does as well, but he's not looking at Baba Yaga, he's looking around at all of you, like he's taking the social cues in this situation from the conquering heroes.
How does our bard not know what the social cues in this situation are?
On Fred's
He
character sheets, his flaw is, I once satirized a noble who still wants my head, and I'll probably repeat this mistake. That's actually straight out of the PHB.
That's really good.
I like it.
Oh man, I can't wait to run into that guy.
Well, it's been there since the first session and it's never come up, so I kind of doubt that it will now. And Baba Yaga stands as well. She begins moving forward. And before she does, Vasilia scampers over to her feet and rolls this red carpet out in front of her that rolls across the stair to her seat at the table. Then the serving girl runs forward and draws the chair back. Baba Yaga sits down in it, and she makes a few cursory moments to try to move it back into place, but Baba Yaga is too fat, too heavy, so Baba Yaga scoots into place at the chair, or at the table.
Then once Baba Yaga is seated, then Khalil will sit down.
And Daniel
Follow
does as
suit.
well.
Yeah,
Yep.
we all sit down.
And Baba Yaga holds her hands out in front of the food in front of her. She says, "My servants slaved away day after day to provide this hospitality for you all." She says, "Please, be my guests, eat, be merry, let's have a drink and a rousing song." And she holds up her hand and snaps a finger, and suddenly music fills the room.
How rousing is it?
It's pretty rousing.
Is it
Is it
coming from? Is
inspirationally?
it just filling
housing?
the? Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be coming from any particular direction. It does at first, but as soon as you kind of focus your attention that direction, it changes. It moves around.
Get a D30 inspiration die.
Is it very entertaining?
And Baba Yaga grabs the decanter of wine in front of her and fills up her goblet and sets it back down and drinks deeply from the glass.
I'll take a sip.
And it's still delicious. Still tastes wonderful.
Duke sees this everyone drinking and not dying and ventures a sip.
Tastes
Booze
wonderful.
it up.
I recommend only a sip. It's pretty strong.
Booze it up.
Bill knocks back a sip as well.
When she sees the people are starting to drink, Daniel does as well. And when she sees the people are starting to drink and starting to let their guard down a little bit and relax, she says, "I feel that I owe you all an apology." She says, "Perhaps you and I began our relationship moving in the wrong direction."
I'll look to Captain Tarin.
I'm looking at
I'll
Daniel.
look to Eldove.
Daniel looks stone-faced. Like
Yeah.
if he's feeling anything, he's not giving it away.
Zook takes another small sip of the wine.
Fred looks worried more than anything.
Of course he does.
She says, "The food is safe, I assure you."
Orphan nods.
And she looks over at Orphan and says, "Again, my apologies, but I didn't know what you liked."
Orphan like waves politely and says, "It's fine. I don't need to eat."
She says, yes, neither did my lieutenants when they still lived."
Khalil clears his
Arik
throat.
is about to bite into one of the cinnamon toast things and stops immediately when he hears her say that.
She says, that's funny. What kind of jam was he using?
I don't know.
Okay.
Very delicious.
Very delicious.
Necromancy.
He was like ecto cooler flavored.
Enchantment.
Shit.
Everybody remembers ecto cooler, right? Okay.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Zook is beginning to very thoughtfully stir around the bowl of rabbit stew that he assumes would be placed in front of him. That seems like a Zook kind of dish.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's stirring it around and he's just kind of getting the aroma. He's kind of wafting it towards his nose.
Tastes delicious.
He's looking all around and he's just like kind of shrugs and just lifts the spoon up and takes a very small sip.
And it is delicious.
And he actually kind of gives kind of a small nod and says, and he kind of looks at everyone else and goes, "Hey," and then he just kind of.
And Baba Yaga smiles broadly and claps her hands together and says, "Ah, you see, who would have guessed the gnome would have the appetite of the lot of you?"
Taran will look at his plate. It's very cosmopolitan. There's a combination of lots of things you wouldn't expect to see together, and he'll just sort of like start picking around and eating bits of it. It's just sort of like, honestly, this has been the thing I've missed the most about home.
So I'm imagining Taran has like a plate of spaghetti with like sushi in it.
Basically like
Caramelized
that, yeah.
brown sugar over the top.
Yeah, no, it's something like that. Something that you wouldn't be able to get except in like some sort of weird fusion thing from a big city, trendy
Right.
eatery, right?
Right.
Although
Yeah.
there's a
That's
bunch
exactly
of really, really tiny tasting bowls.
Orphan, who has nothing else to do, says, "Yes, I'm sorry about your servants. We were only trying to recover the Dragonborn stings, and I guess there was a misunderstanding. If we could have, we would have gone without, the violence that ensued."
And she nods and she says, "Gracious words, but I assure you the offense is mine." And she looks over at the Dragonborn and she says, "Surely no hard feelings."
Oh, I have a feeling we're about to roll for initiative.
And you see anger flash across Daniel's face. Just this righteous fury. But he does not make a move.
So tell me about Dusk. How's that as a companion or servant?
You guys tell me about what?
Dusk.
Dusk? She says, Twilight is the least amiable of the three. And Tarin. Sorry, I've got to make a note of something here. Okay. Nope, nothing happens. Okay. I'm gonna do that every couple seconds just to keep you guys on your toes.
Fair enough.
Cannot be
she
surprised.
says, Twilight is the least amiable of the three. She says, Daylight is, of course, the most talkative and the best companion. She says, and Midnight, very intriguing to know the mind of night. Says, he has taken quite a liking to my Cyclops.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that. Why do you think that is?
I'm sorry, you said, why do you think that is?
Yeah, he's asking her, like, why do you think the Midnight has taken such a liking to the Cyclops?
She answers, are you asking me to read the mind of a witless giant or the mind of an unknowable force of nature?
Pick your poison.
And everybody is
Orphan will say,
watching this exchange. And as Zook and Baba Yaga are conversing, you see his beard, some of his hair has turned gray, turned silvery with age.
Who, Fred?
No, Zook.
Oh.
Do I feel anything or notice this change in any way?
You don't. And actually, you know what? I'm going to say only Arik. I'm going to say only Arik actually noticed that, because he's the only one with a passive perception that isn't embarrassing.
Khalil's isn't embarrassing.
Oh, you're right. Khalil gets a bonus. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
Khalil, you
minus
absolutely
+5.
notice. I mean, it's very subtle, because... Yeah, you just see
You're
a
on the
couple
other side of the table.
couple of his beard hairs kind of lose their color and go a little silver. So,
I'll nudge Tarin with my elbow again.
Yeah, mind linked.
He's doing it to Zook again.
and as soon as the mind link goes up, Baba Yaga's eyes snap in Tarin's direction. And she says, oh, come now. It's quite impolite to talk behind your host's back.
Lucas snaps over to Tarin because he knows something is up when he hears that. Like, what?
I'll just say, Zook might want to look in a mirror, and I'll kind of give her, like, this kind of withering glare.
A withering glare. Okay.
Yep.
She says, when we first met, I asked what business you had in my hut. And I asked, and very brusquely I see now that I've caused you great offense, which in turn caused you to bring great violence upon my servants and my possessions. He says, so let's water under the bridge. Let bygones be bygones. And I will ask again if you would be so inclined. If you have a request of me, if you have something inside my abode that you need or desire, perhaps speak it plainly and we can come to an accord.
Very well then. And Orphan will glance toward Tarin just for a second to say, is this okay?
Tarin nods.
We need, not need, well, we would like you to grant passage through your hut to one Mr. Destin Locke.
As she laughs very, very loudly. And then, like, she starts coming down off the laughter for a moment, like, clutching her chest, like she's out of breath, but she looks up and she sees how serious your face is, and another peal of laughter as she just leans back. It's like a bad scene in an Adam Sandler movie.
So any scene in an Adam Sandler movie.
She says, and by the time she can finally regain her composure, she starts wiping the tears away from her eyes, and she's, oh, yes, please, tell me, what is good Destin Locke up to now?
You know, signing people into contracts. The usual.
She says, I know all about Mr. Locke's contracts. She says, he's just sore that I got the best of him.
How's that?
She said, he came here and asked me of something very similar. Passage through the hut, he said. Passage safely to Avernus, he said. He said, if I would but grant him power over the hut for 1 week of time, so that he could go anywhere in the multiverse that he desired. And I granted him, but he did not know. He didn't know that I controlled the rising and setting of the sun. So, oh, this is rich. So, moments later, after 7 days had passed, he left. Very sore indeed.
Polite, forced laughter.
Orphan will legitimately laugh.
Yeah, it's kind of finds it very funny too, honestly.
It is kind of a funny story.
But amidst his laughter, Zook will just sort of ask, but, that's funny. That's
yes,
funny.
it is. It's
But I
very funny indeed. And she looks around the table. Fred is, like, snickering to himself, and he's, like, fishing around his pack to roll out parchment and quill. Looking over at Daniel. Daniel is just still has this angry glare on his face. He's not taking any of this lightly.
But I have to ask, why not let him pass through? Is that a burden to you?
And she shakes her head and says, not a burden at all, but it is the fiend's nature to twist the words of a contract, to twist a promise into something vile.
That seems
I think
accurate.
Yeah.
I think it all just matters how you outmaneuver them. It's a game of chess, after all.
That's what she did.
And Orphan said, unfortunately, we're promised something to him as well,
Khalil,
which is why we're here.
you and Arik notice a few more gray, scraggly hairs in Zook's beard, and a wrinkle or two under his eyes that was not there before. And Orphan says, you said you're beholden to him as well? You have something you owe him
Yeah,
as well?
we've made a promise to him as well.
And she says, more fool you, unless you left yourself a loophole. And she looks around and says, you did leave yourself a loophole, did you not?
I'm only daring the contract.
Yeah.
Eldove
Terrence
doesn't have
sort
anything
of
to say.
shrugs. I'm still working on it. It's not as airtight as he seems to think.
She says, and so, we come to the point in the conversation where we come to an accord. I am willing to help you with Destin Locke. And grant you safe passage or whatever it is you came here seeking. Knowledge, wisdom, mountains of gold. Yes, yes, yes. I have all of that and more. Is this agreeable?
Wait.
Arik shoots a look at Daniel, expecting him to just blurt out something.
Daniel he looks very upset. He looks very angry, but he's kept his composure. He's not charging forward sword in hand.
Orphan says it's agreeable to me. I can't speak for the rest of the group, but it sounds. I'd like to conclude this business amicably.
May I ask a question before we proceed?
She looks over at Khalil and says, of course you may. Of course, my fine young lad.
Khalil will chuckle. What's happening to Zook?
Zook's like, what's happening to me?
Bear with me 1 second. Oops. God damn it, PDF. And I just banged my microphone. I'm great at this.
Good, well done.
Arik and Zook. Well, maybe Zook. Ooh, okay. Khalil asks what is happening to Zook. And first of all, what's Zook's reaction to that?
Zook, well, Tarin had just said, look in a mirror, so Zook knows something is happening to him. So Zook's reaction is very much, yeah, what's happening to me?
Okay. And Baba Yaga replies, she says, well, people who know too much grow old before their time. Zook and Arik, as she says that, you see Khalil develop a few wrinkles on his face.
Again.
Yeah, and Zook will actually say, since we're kind of open table at this point, so to speak, Khalil, you just got a little wiser.
Khalil does not look happy.
So she says, in plainest words, what is it you want? For me to allow lock passage? That's it? La-di-da, and we're done here? Wrap it up and go home?
We would also need the fifth of your Horned Devil servants to be freed.
She says, but I only had 4. 3 of them you slayed in battle, and 1 attempted to betray me.
Ah, so he is the fifth.
And she looks at you like she doesn't understand.
Oh, okay.
That might be a mistake on my part.
The
Terrible
5th
set.
what?
Can we make a whiz 10 to see
I'm just gonna look at my
what
notes.
Destin said?
Nope.
Orphan Chick said, in any case, I think that's it, isn't it? She looks at the others.
As yes. Oh, we need it from her. I mean, ideally, Zook was kind of thinking maybe they could use this to go home at some point, but for now, yeah, that's.
Oh, right, and passage for ourselves as well.
Passage for yourselves to where?
Home.
Oh, none of us are from this Trennis. We're not from this plane. We have no way. We
Clears his
have
throat.
no other way off.
Well, some of us aren't from this plane.
Oh, that's true.
She says, I can walk to any plane that can be imagined.
So what we would... Zook is hesitant to actually speak out loud at this point, since answering her question seems to be aging him somehow.
So she says,
So
so that's it. I agree to ferry you around the multiverse, open the doors to wherever it is you wish to go, let Destin Locke waltz through as well, and then we're done, yes?
Orphan nods. That's it. That's all we need.
Zook looks at Tarin and shrugs, like, that's it, right?
And she says, well, why didn't you simply say that in the first place? I am here to accommodate you. And she
The
begins...
hedgehog girl. I'd also like to see her go free. And be put back into being a girl.
Well, let's see.
Oh, shoot, yeah, that's right.
To that, Baba Yaga leans back in her chair, puts her hand to her chin, strokes her beard hairs that are poking out there.
It wasn't part of our original reason that we came here, but now that we're here, it is.
She says, the girl broke the terms of her contract with me. She was to serve me loyally for a period of 2 years, and she did not. If I was to turn her over to you, I would have to collect a fair price. But I'm willing to negotiate.
What's your opening offer?
She leans back and thinks about it for a few moments. She says, I would be willing to sell her. I'm going to check your inventories real quick. What does... Oh, you know, I don't have to check. She looks over at Arik
I knew it.
and says, in exchange for your magical staff that controls the weather of the heavens, a delectable and most appropriate item for my collection. The price is fair, yes?
Arik looks hurt.
And she says, oh, no need for any of that. I wasn't really going to eat you. The priest's magic stick for the hedgehog girl. And I will throw in the transformation as the cherry on top.
Zook looks at Arik, and he kind of looks at him and goes, and says, "Both girls." And you get the staff after we're done with our mission. That sound good to you, Arik?
Ah, what is this talk of a mission?
We have business out besides this hut. It would take us a couple, maybe a year.
Very well. Then after 1 year, you may return and collect your hedgehog. She says, as for Vasilia, sure, I will let her go and trust it to your care, providing that she wants to go.
Just like that?
She says, for the price of the staff, yes.
Oh, along with the staff.
She says, that staff is worth more than 2 peasant girls, surely.
Zook kind of looks a little pleadingly at Arik at this point, like,
Plus passage back to their families.
This is what you do with the girls once they're in your care is no concern to me.
Arik leans forward, puts an elbow on the table, and points at Khalil. You know, he's got a magic eyeball. It's really much more amazing than my staff.
wow.
And Baba Yaga looks over at Khalil and says, yes, I've noticed.
Khalil, stone-faced.
Orphan scoffs at Arik and says, really? You're not willing to give your staffs for the livelihoods of 2 young girls? I'm surprised at you.
Didn't you have a polearm that was better anyhow?
I'm pretty confident that staff is the most powerful magic weapon across the entire party. In fact, I'm very confident of that.
At this point, with Eldove's shitty insight, he's reasonably sure everyone's just talking and we're going to attack like we do at every banquet.
Well, it is kind of our MO, so yeah, I can see why you would think that.
Yeah, Zook's not positive that's not going to happen anyhow.
Arik lets out a very long sigh. I really, really like this staff.
And Baba Yaga replies, well, I really, really like my hedgehog.
Fine.
And she cheerfully claps her hands together and says, yes, very good. Vasilia, come in here. And Vasilia very kind of sheepishly pokes her head through. And Baba Yaga asks, these wonderful people have just bought you, dear girl. Would you like to leave with them? And Vasilia looks terrified and starts shaking her head and says, no, ma'am, of course not. I'd rather stay here and serve you loyally and well as I have been. And Baba Yaga shrugs, turns back to the group and says, well, there you have it.
And Zook looks at Vasilia and says, no. We're not looking to buy you. We're just trying to get you out of here.
And Vasilia looks hurt when you say that. Excuse me. And she says, like, she starts pleading with Baba Yaga, like, please, don't make me go. I can still serve well. Have I mispleased you in any way? And Baba Yaga replies things like, oh no, it's simply business, my dear. But Baba Yaga considers the matter settled. There, you have it. Vasilia doesn't want to go. I will send one of my servants to retrieve the hedgehog and have her brought here. I doubt she can waddle here under her own power. Who's clipping their toenails?
I don't know.
I will murder that person.
She's as to the other thing. How long will you be requiring the, abilities of my hut?
We need to put lock through it, and then after we're done with our business in this world, I'd be looking to go home.
And how long will that take? A week? 2 weeks?
It's difficult to say.
And Orphan coughs and says, I think that we should be discussing this in terms of uses rather than days.
What do you mean by uses?
I mean, from our perspective, let's say that Mr. Locke leaving through the Avernus Gate, that would be one use.
That would take, what, a matter of minutes? We could arrange that within the day. So 1 use, 1 day.
But you've already told us what you did to Mr. Locke when he demanded a week, and then how it availed him nothing.
Ah, you fear I would do the same to you. Very well, then, let us redefine the terms. 24 hours. How does that strike you?
That leaves us in the same place. An hour here means what? In our world.
Says an hour is the same everywhere, my boy. The day is defined by the rising and the setting of the sun. An hour is an abstract concept invented to... Come on, you really can't keep up with the conversation? As she catches herself. Says, my apologies, I spoke out of turn. Says, I have no desire to fool you the way that I fooled Mr. Locke. Why would I? You all are mortals. You're not here to steal my soul or wander off with my riches. Are you?
Orphan shakes her head.
Will shakes his head.
Says Destil Locke is a fiend. One of the most evil and vile creatures to walk the plains. I consider it a personal challenge to twist his own contract.
So, about death. What exactly will happen to the rest of the universe once death is trapped?
She leans back in her chair again. Says,
Oh,
what
God.
do you know about that?
Well, I mean, Twilight and contemporaries are impressive, no less, but obviously you're building up to something.
And that's your concern, why?
The exact reason I just stated. What will happen to the rest of the universe if that happens?
She says nothing. Nothing at all.
There's nothing bad. There's nothing nothing will happen. Like people won't die and they'll be hideously deformed and malnourished and waste away for thousands of years, or nothing. Business is normal.
I can't imagine anything would happen at all. So, we are in agreement. You'll have the use of my hut for 1 day, defined as a period of 24 hours, long enough for you to collect Mr. Locke and let him walk out into Avernus. And in return, the lot of you go in peace.
Well, and then we get to go through at a later time.
And you see like a flash of annoyance on her face for a moment. She says, well then, the question is, how much time do you need? A week? 2 weeks? 6 months? 10 years? How long will you need control over the hut?
Is that the factor here? Do you need it? for us to use the hut, do we need to have control over it? Is that what you're saying?
She says, I'm very inclined to be accommodating, but I'm also very, very busy. She says, I can't be expected to hold myself to your schedule forever.
No, of course not.
Busy with what?
She looks over at Arik and says, with all due respect, when I asked of your business, you said nothing. Ergo, it is impolite to then ask about mine. And we would not want to be impolite, would we?
Suppose not.
Zook,
Yeah.
you and Khalil. Look at Eric's face.
Yeah.
And wrinkles
Yep.
where there were none previously. Gray hairs streaking in his... I don't know, what color is Eric's hair supposed to be?
He's a ginger.
He's a ginger.
Oh my god. Well, now you have no fucking room to talk about making deals with demons.
Wow.
You guys do all know that Brick is a ginger.
Yeah, so.
You also know that you're on open table right now. So,
That makes no sense.
so Baba Yaga waves away talk of deals with demons and says she will have truck with no such thing. Devils and demons are not meant to be made to make deals with, my young mortals, though you may seek power in great number and opportunity. These creatures are meant to be enslaved, bent to the will of those mortals that are strong enough to chain them.
Bottom line, we need to get locked through here, all that 24 hours, and then at a later time, after we are done with our business, we would like another, say, 24 hours for us to to get our own transportation.
She says, with all due respect, my young gnome friend, would you like more wine? I can have more brought.
I'm fine, thank you.
She says, if I were to make such a deal, what indication is there that I would hold my word? How can I assure any of you that I would in fact come back at a later date to ferry you to your destination? No, in my position I could simply say, yes, yes, of course I'll do that, and then simply
You want
not
that
show
cleric
up.
staff. You
Says,
want the cleric staff. That'll be when that transaction takes place.
the cleric staff is payment for the young girl. And she
Which
says
we were
this
going to-
very seriously.
And which we said we would do, make payment after our business was concluded. Remember?
And once again, a great amount of faith is placed in me, for if I were to return to this place, and I were to exchange the hedgehog for the staff, you're assuming the hedgehog would be here, alive, safe, uneaten, in
But
a
you
similar
want the
form.
staff, don't you?
She looks over at Arik and says, she nods and says, the staff is powerful indeed.
In order to get the staff, you
But
would
make
need
no
to bring
mistake, I do not covet it among all other things. I've created things of more power and beauty than that staff. It is a curiosity. I think now can be a good time for a dinner break because my wife just brought me a sandwich.
Okay.
All right.